Ever since I released my defensive highlight video back in November, a lot of people have been asking me how I manually rush the A-gap and sack the quarterback. Well, the first thing that we want to know is the same thing that every defense in the NFL wants to know, which is the offense's snap count. Once we know the offense's snap count, we're going to just have a huge advantage. And when it comes to Madden, that just means that we're going to be able to time the snap and get in on the quarterback every single time. Uh, Lots of different types of snap counts. Some people love to quick snap, so as soon as their players get set on the line of scrimmage, they're going to snap the ball immediately. And they do that because they don't want you to set up any defenses, and they want to make it so that you're not necessarily ready on defense. Well, against this type of thing, that's absolutely the worst thing that they can do, because for me, what I'll do is I'll call this 5-2 cover 1 play. I'm ready for the quick snap. I basically won't even bring my safety down much. As soon as everyone gets set, I just come right through the gap. Now, as you may know, based on other videos, the other thing I do is I love to roam around on defense. I'll fake blitzing, whether it's the A gap or just any kind of gap, fake blitz to the outside based on other defenses that I have where I come in, and they just never know whether I'm blitzing or dropping back into coverage. So I just kind of run around like this. You're going to see that in the gameplay footage, that I'm doing a lot of faking. And every once in a while, what's going to happen basically is even if they're waiting, they're waiting to see me move. As soon as I come down to the line of scrimmage, they're going to snap the ball, and I'm just going to be able to get a free run right at the quarterback and make a sack. The other thing that we want to do is, as you can see, it's cover 1 defense. So our corners are playing 7 to 8 yards off the line of scrimmage. So what I love to do here is, when you face a cover 1, you might throw in a curl, you might throw in a drag, just different routes that are going to beat off coverage defense. So what I'm going to do is I'm ready. I'm ready to hit that gap, and just before I start charging the gap, I'm just going to bump and run and then take off. Now we can also do it in the reverse order, where we break the huddle and we bump and run immediately. But the one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to use backup coverage, because as you can see here, now the corners are playing 10 yards off and the slot defender is playing 15 yards off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump and run once I break the huddle. Then just before I take off for the A-gap, I'm going to reset the play and then hit the A-gap. So now, basically what it's doing is it's just messing up the coverage. When they're not ready for bump and run coverage, that's what they're going to face right at the last second. And when they're ready for bump and run coverage, they're going to end up playing off coverage. And it's just really going to help us be able to get interceptions and just throw their timing off and things like that. The other thing we can do is we can spread the linebackers. If you feel like there's maybe this guy's getting in the way based on what it is that you want to do, or maybe you just want this defender here to play the flats a little bit more wide, or this guy to be over the tight end directly, just whatever you want to do. So I do like to spread the linebackers at times. And essentially all it is just getting the time and coming in right at this A-gap. As you can see, the 5-2 defense creates holes right here in the gaps. Over here, there's no way that I'd be able to get in because that guard is not going to get picked up, and I'm just going to run right into him. But the gaps here are just set up perfectly, and you can find these in other defenses as well. It's not just the 5-2. Depending on the formation that you're going to face on offense, what you want to do is, this is what I always do, is I just look to see, is there any gap that I can hit manually? And I pay attention to this, whether I call a 4-3 a defense, a nickel defense, just depending on what the offense is running, you might find yourself being able to come right through the gap. So basically, once you get the snap count down, just rush that gap. They're going to snap the ball, and you're going to come right in. Now, I'm controlling 2 controllers here, so it wasn't necessarily the greatest. Let me just try this one more time. As you can see right here, and I missed him because I'm controlling it with one. It's really weird. Anyway, you're going to see in the gameplay footage that, of course, I'm not such a donkey like I am here in practice mode. I come through every time. I literally have, I don't know, maybe 70 or 80 highlights of me doing this. But of course, I'm not going to show you every single one of those. You're going to get the idea. You just manually rush that gap, and you're going to get the sack many, many times a game. As long as you know your opponent's snap count, it's going to be a huge advantage. Now, just before I let you go, there's one more thing that we can do. Let's say that we think that our opponent's going to go deep. Well, we can, of course, get on the linebacker. We can also, manually rush this gap. But one thing I love to do is play coverage. Maybe, shift our linebackers to the right side of the field. Then hot blitz. Oops, hot blitz the wrong guy. Then hot blitz the middle linebacker and maybe get pressure through the middle. If we shift our linebackers to the left, then we just hot blitz the right guy, and maybe he'll come through the middle. Now, if he doesn't come through the middle and we shift to the left, this defensive end is going to come free right of the quarterback. If we shift to this side, we're either going to get right through the gap here, or this defensive end is going to come free. So basically, those are the options that you have just to make sure that you have a safety deep. And of course, don't forget, we could also just manually rush these gaps with any linebacker. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tip. I know a lot of you guys have been asking. I get emails every day about it. And it's something that I use a lot. You can also do it out of cover 3 as well. The only thing you need to do is you're going to need to re-blitz all 3 of these guys. Then you're going to be able to come through this gap. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.